the old pond at Ruislip, with its 16th century barn, and memories of the time when the village was half a day's journey by a coach and four from Marble Arch, London. Today, it would take you only half an hour by car along the A40. That is, if the traffic will let you. Ruislip has its own leader, where many national and international water skiing championships take place. Today, only the hulls of the local sailing club break the calm surface. It's a short bus trip from here to the High Street. It's just like many other high streets in many other parts of the country. But in the summer of 1972, Ruislip became a town with a difference. For the people of Ruislip, under the auspices of the Ruislip Christian Council and the British Red Cross Society, set out to give 20 spastic children the holiday of a lifetime. Children who are not so fortunate as many in Ruislip, able to enjoy a holiday abroad or in this country with their parents. There are over 30,000 spastic children in the country today, all of them needing constant attention and help in their attempt to lead as normal a life as possible. This restricts not only their way of life, but also that of their parents, and often their brothers and sisters too. So on the 28th of July, 1972, when 20 of these children from all over Great Britain arrived in Ruislip High Street, an exciting and memorable 10 days was about to start for 12 boys and 8 girls. And for the residents of Ruislip, it was the end of months of planning and discussing, and the moment when they would discover if they had remembered everything, from the largest to the smallest detail. The children were to stay in a local church hall. This would be home, and over 200 residents would be coming and going, all helping with the many jobs to be done. Some would drop in on their way to work to help with the morning chores, others after work in the evening, on their way home. All help was rostered, so that the most hands were available at the peak times, such as the arrival, meal times, and bedtime. It was also necessary to have a doctor available if required, and a nurse in attendance at night. 30 beds had been loaned by the locals, complete with sheets and blankets. And in addition, shops and businesses helped with food and other items to make the stay comfortable. Now, the first job was to settle in and get to know each other, and to make sure Mother had packed everything, especially the favourite toy. With the younger members of the Ruislip community at hand, keen to see that no one was lonely, everyone soon settled in, and the holiday of a lifetime had started. Many outings and events have been organised by the many people involved in the project. There was a boat trip on the Thames, a visit to Woburn Abbey, Pinewood Film Studios, London, and many others. This film covers just a few of these outings in an attempt to show what can be arranged for handicapped children with a very small budget. £310, in fact, and a lot of enthusiasm and cooperation. Enthusiasm and cooperation not only from the residents, but from local shops and businesses too. The loan of a TV set and a radio, a discount on food and drink, and so on. A trip to anywhere is likely to be exciting and offer something new to see to someone normally restricted by a wheelchair or crutches. But when it's a trip to Buckingham Palace to see the changing of the guard, it's something really special. And for our 20 spastic children, an extra favour was granted, for they were to be allowed inside the palace grounds to see this event. For Lawrence, there would be so much to remember. No one could remind him or describe this again, for he was both deaf and dumb. But regardless of the thoughts, the extra large bag of sweets was bound to make the outing a considerable success. This trip was a good demonstration of what can be arranged through official channels and was typical of many visits that were to take place during the 10 days holiday. Past Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament, up Whitehall, past Horse Guards Parade, and the next turning on the left revealed the view all had been waiting for. That rather special piece of paper produced just the right reaction, and they were through the gates of Buckingham Palace. And they're changing the guard at Buckingham Palace, well, in about 20 minutes to be precise. Robert came from Worthing. Now, they don't change the guard there, so this was quite a novelty. Susan, who lived in Cambridge, was holding on tight. Those soldiers weren't going to put her in the Tower of London. Sharon from Barnet had seen all this on television, but nothing can beat the real thing. As an extra special honour, they even received a royal salute. Duncan came from Yorkshire. He was going to have a lot to tell him when he got back home. But today, home was London, and there was still so much to see and do. The people of Ruislip had given a holiday like this before, and they had learned a lot from their first experience. Meals, for instance, were best made simple. Anyway, eating out in London can be expensive, so a picnic is a cheap way round the problem. And the attractive surroundings of a London park can provide an extra bonus at no additional cost. The lunch boxes contain sandwiches, sausage rolls, cakes, fruits and sweets, the lot. And not much was left over. By now, friendships were being made, with the youngsters of Ruislip taking their companionship role very seriously, but nevertheless also getting great fun from the occasion. Young Paul demonstrated that he was here to see London, and to see London he jolly well would. Because you are a spastic does not mean that you can only stand and watch the water. Many vacated their chairs and their sticks, and into the water they went. The local swimming pool at Ruislip has a handicapped members section, and experienced people were around to help out. Most of the children went in. Most of them, that is, except Paul, for he came on holiday to see Ruislip. And to see Ruislip, he jolly well would. For the organisers, the problem is always to provide a variety of both things to see and do. Sometimes the children's ingenuity was enough. But a little thought by anyone on what happens in their locality can usually throw up some novel idea. For instance, not everyone gets the chance to try his hand at town crier, especially when an authority on the subject is around to advise on the procedure. Mealtimes, given some thought, could also be turned into an event. Even the old English favourite, fish and chips. Especially when it becomes a fish and chip picnic. At the end of each day, after the letter writing, and for some the phone calls, if they still had the energy, there were games to play and stories to be told, whilst waiting for a turn with the soap and water. All that was left now was to be tucked up for the night by the young and the not-so-young helpers, who were becoming firm friends, as well as a substitute for Mum and Dad. This, of course, was a holiday for the mums and dads of the children too, for it was a relief for them from this kind of work. Work they had to do day after day, week after week, year after year. Not every part of every day had to be organised. There was plenty to do at the local park. And providing there was someone on hand to see all was well, the slide, the swings and the roundabout are always old faithfuls for some fun. At least Paul thought so, and he wasn't going to miss a thing. Not quite a park, but looking a little like one, inside, is Pinewood Film Studios, a few miles away from Ruislip. Here was a chance to let the imagination take wing and fly to all sorts of fascinating places, all for free. The technicians were not filming that day, so there were no great stars to talk to. But who needs stars when you can become one yourself? Tarzan, perhaps. the first of the few. Or even Pinocchio. Or perhaps you'll just sip a martini and wait for Don Carlos to appear. It's all imagination, but it's fun, even if it only lasts a short while. And reality is just around the corner. But sometimes things seem real, and yet they're not. If only all our problems could be solved with a magic wand. An open-air party in a local garden, when the magician really has to work very hard to beat the quick eye and the alertness of our 20 friends and their escorts. And for the organisers, a short while to relax and join in the fun. For many of these children from all parts of England, this was their first real holiday. And being away from home without mum and dad could present problems, but there were few tears. The children were taken into individual homes, and many firm friendships were struck. For the organisers, the rewards were to be found in the faces of the children, who were to become more than just a person. These were children with great courage and a wonderful humour. Children whom one will remember for many years to follow. Ruislip will be doing the same again next year. Why not you?